So those of you who have a VPN connected, I'm going to put this into the week 10 Slack. If it ever comes back. Let me crash Slack and come back. All right. Okay, so download this project and go ahead and open it up. And what I'll do is I'll show you what it looks like to start off with from scratch. So 424 has a couple of different settings when you start off a project. And one of those is a collaborative a multiplayer project. All right, there it goes. There we go, too many windows. And in the meantime, I'm going to open up the one I have as well. Alright, to get to this from scratch, what we would do is, you see this is now a different kind of layout when you start it off. We would actually go into the architecture, engineering, construction. This is where you find this. And this is a collaborative viewing project, just so you know it. But they have to be the same exact one to do multiplayer, so I'm going to be opening up the one that you guys, the same one that you guys have. And then what we can do is now, if everyone opens up their, or people who are on Windows open up a command prompt. And then type in ipconfig. When you're connected to the VPN, you will see that you have a VPN client IP address. Mine is 192.168.1.30. So this is kind of like our local area network IP address. Does anyone else have a VPN IP?
Yeah, mine's.
All right, was that you, Amy?
Mine's .38.
.38?
Mine is .41.
So they're all going to be kind of sequential. So what I can do now is, we're all on the same little network, and like Junan, I'm now pinging you and getting returns. Well, let's see. Let's try.
Sorry, which one are you looking under? Unknown adapter VPN?
The one that says VPN, yeah, the unknown adapter VPN client.
Mine is 1.40.
Mine is .33.
Great. We go into the Corsair.
Oh, unknown. Yeah. Mine is 35.
So if you guys were able, so I'm now on the Corsair computer on the other room. Ping 192.168.1. IP config. The 1.30. You can see that like I'm now pinging from Brooklyn down to where I am right now. So we're all able to create this VPN, which is a virtual private network. It's our own private network that we're tunneling together and creating a local network together. So what you can do now is if you have this collaborative project open, navigate to the main menu level. So I just filtered by levels, went to main menu, and then start as a standalone game.
Oh,
This is like bypassing trying to make it executable. To do multiplayer, you have to usually make an executable. So what Unreal's giving you with this collaborative viewer is a way of doing multiplayer, a template for multiplayer that has a really nice menu system, and it works for VR as well. So I could say Todd, and then I'm going to host a session. But just so you guys can see what it looks like, if I said join a session, then over this network we would see the server I'm going to create. Oftentimes it doesn't work, and then this is where we put in the fact that mine is 192.168.1.30. And then you would say join. But let me go ahead and start one real quick. So I'm going to host a session. And now I'm in this world. So if everyone give a second to put in, here's my IP 192.168.1.30. Manually type it in.
Can you like show it again? Where exactly to do this?
Yeah.
What was that?
Can you show it again? Like where we're supposed to put the IP?
All right. So if you at the root of the project, filter by levels, and you'll find main menu.
Yeah.
Start it in a standalone project. It has to be standalone. And then after you put in your name, you should be able to join a session. And then say manually put an IP address. And that's where you put it in. But I need to host a session first. So everyone give that a shot.
display name is the IP address.
Display name is your whatever you want to be called.
Oh, I'm in.
So join a session.
Whoosh.
And then once you put your name in, you can say join a session.
Sorry, could you say your IP address again?
It's 192.168.1.30.
When you put join a session, the Todd's posted session kind of shows up.
So sometimes it will, so you can go ahead and just double click on that. And there's Amy.
I'm sorry, how do you get to the standalone session?
Yes, a standalone game.
How do
Under
I
the
get-
play menu?
Play, there's a standalone.
So we have to use the PC.
For right now, it has to be a PC. That's why I was saying that this is only for a VPN. We're creating a little local network game. I'm still working on trying to get it to work for Mac, but it hasn't. It's not essential. I'm just showing the fact that these are built-in templates. So what this is this is like a little collaborative thing. We go in these different rooms, and if you you can select items and point at them. So this is the whole idea of like trying to talk about like, yeah, like look at this and talk and navigate around. And it could switch to, right now you're floating around. If you look at the top right, you'll see that there's that's floating around. You can also walk around like footsteps. And then if you have a VR headset in, you can click the VR button, and then you can be a VR headset. I've unplugged mine because I was going really slow. So what's really cool about this is that you can just, whatever levels you make, you can kind of import these settings, and I can show you how later on. And it will, you can make your game multiplayer. It's going to have these different characters, but that's a really great template to have to start off with for collaboration. Cool. So I'm going to. Is anyone close to joining that hasn't got a chance to join?
Todd, what's the last two digits of the IP address?
It is 1.30.
1.30. Cool. Thanks.
Sorry about that. I should just put that in Slack. My computer's being real slow with all the stuff I got going on. So what's cool about this is that you don't need me if you wanted to work with a classmate. Just join. You can make multiple sessions. You can host them as many as you want to, and here we all are hanging out multiplayer. Cool. And Junon, are you able to see my?
Yeah.
Awesome. So you don't need me to host a session. Any of you can host a session whenever you want. And there's a documentation I'll put in the channel for you guys to see how to do this, how to do more features on this. I'm going to hit escape, guys. It's going to kick everyone out, okay?
This is basically a LAN party.
That's exactly, it's a LAN party.
It's so weird and interesting. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so what this is it's two different levels. It is, if you go to your Windows setting, and I'm screen recording all this so you can follow along later on, there's a levels. And what I have is I'm opening up Collaborative Viewer, and it says _P. P means persistent. P means a level that's always around. This is the multiplayer stuff that's at top. There's little eyeballs here, and I can turn it up, turn it off, and turn it back on. And then what we have here is a sample level. That's all the geometry. So I can actually delete this sample level and add a level that I've made already. And this could be any level you guys make. You can turn any of your projects you've already done into a multiplayer game now. All you do is say add existing, find a level that you want to use, and then add it in. And then that geometry would be there. So you can migrate your levels into this, add it in here, and you have a multiplayer game. So that's a really cool feature set to have built in. It's been in the engine for about a year. All right, and we'll get more into that in a second. So now what I want to talk to you guys about is how to do multi-user editing, and you'll have to go into your plugins. Right, I went to settings and plugins. Go to built-in and search for multi, and where it says multi-user editing, enable that. Cool. And then I'll make you restart, so go ahead and restart. In the meantime, I'm gonna now create a new hosting session. This is for being inside the editor. So I'm gonna go down to my developer tools, and you guys have to do this too, and find multi-user browser. My snipping's not working the way it should. Let's see. So that's the window for multi-user browser. And if you're still trying to find the plugins, there it is. So once you have multi-user browser available, I'm going to host a session. I'm going to create a new session, and I'm going to call it Emerging Tech. Close. Alright, let me make a new session first. Tech. It's crashing. Alright, one more time.
My turn.
Remote endpoint started. I call this tech. Tech. Create a session. Well, that's so much fun with live demos. Let's see. Which computer am I on? Yes, that's my computer. Well, it won't do it. So what I'm going to do is we'll come back with multi-user editing. But now we've already done multiplayer, and we'll come back with this. And it's literally 2 more steps. I just want to show you guys what we're doing at the virtual private network and why I wanted to get you started with that. So that's it for this. There's no homework assignment with the multiplayer or multi-user. I just want to show you where we're going with this. And let me show you the just a quick component for what we're going to do for the rest of the semester. So everyone should have, from 2 weeks ago, the SVN set up. And this is for Mac and Windows, so everyone's back on the table again. All right? So we're now in 424, and I'm going to create our final project. And in my notes, I've added kind of like our rules for engagement with the SVN.
Should we just be watching? We don't have to follow along.
You don't have to follow along. This is just watching.
Okay.
This is for everyone, though. This is for Mac and Windows, for everyone going forward. So, what we're going to do is we're going to eventually, not yet, start, when you start looking for all these assets, don't bring them into this project. You're going to have a local project you're going to kind of use to filter through all these things that you're finding. But for now, I wanted to show you that we're adding how to add a project to an SVN, and then it'll be a blank project for now. Okay. So my project is right here, and remember the whole roll call? We have everyone's text documents here, and this is going to be where you're going to update from. And whenever we work with SVN, we're going to let me create the project real quick. We're going to make it blank, but we're going to make it a blank a virtual production workflow. Now we can make it this one. All right, so this is going to be our project, and we're going to call it ETS final. No starter content, so it's empty. Let's do that again. Let's make it a blank one. I literally can't even get Google. All right, let's just do a blank project. Blank. ETS file. ETS. Oh, stupid. All right. Blank. Blueprint quality disabled. Yes. ETS. Thank you. All right, and I put this documentation for SVN for UE4. It's in last week's, but I can add to this week as well. And syllabus. All right, so I've created an empty project right here. And I'm going to create the folder structure real quick for making a material. So we're going to start with assets. And inside of here, we're going to have two folders, one for materials and one for levels. Or we could call it maps. That's more traditional. Okay. So what I want everyone to do for homework is we're going to everyone's going to create their own map, their own level, and they're going to put a sphere in it with one material. That's it. It's just an exercise in SVN. So a new level, and I'm going to make it an empty level. Nothing in here whatsoever. All right. And then I'm going to add a sphere. somewhere in the center of the world, and you guys can put it wherever you want to and make it however big you want it to be. Doesn't matter to me. There's your sphere. And then we're going to talk about material instances for 2 seconds. So I'm going to make a material, and this is called material base color. And you guys have put together materials for your fuse characters and make human characters. So you've seen this graph before. And if I type in the letter 3 and click, or if I drag over from over here, I have a little color box. I'm just going to make it white by default. Plug it in. And this is the color of this material. But as you see, every time I hit save, it takes a little while to save and update. And what we want to do is tell the game engine that I want you to allocate more resources to this color, to this material, so that I can change it in real time. And for me to be able to do that, I need to make an instance of this material. So I'm going to right click. First of all, I want to be able to address this color later on. I'm going to convert it to parameter. And it's just going to be called color. And I'm going to save. So we're just giving a namespace to be able to address this in an instance. And I'll show you what this means. Close it out. And this is what you guys are going to do for homework. You're going to put a sphere in the world, go into navigate into this folder, and when you right click, you have the option to say create an instance of. Each of you are going to create your own instance. And then the naming convention we'll use for now is, if I can bring up Google Docs again. Come on, baby. Here we go. Is you're going to create a material that is called MI base your name. My name's Todd. I'm going to type that in. And here's my material. I'm going to add it to my sphere. You can just drag it in. Or as you saw over here, I can drag it in the details. And then when I double click it, it has a new layout. This is an instance layout. I click here, and then in real time, without having to recompile, I can change the color. And then as you see, it's updated in my viewport. So I'm going to choose a color that I want, say OK, and that's all I'm asking for homework. Is put a sphere in there. It's more about the learning the version control. All right, so I have the base project here, and I'm going to put my level. Right here in assets and maps, and it's called a sub-level, so we're going to use SL underscore my name. SL underscore my name, and that goes here. All right, so I'm going to say
SL stands for
sub-level or streaming level. So just like that collaborative viewer had that top persistent level, we're going to load all these in as sub-levels that we can work on simultaneously. Cool. Close this out. And then here's my little SVN checklist I made for this week. This is kind of a best practices. Whenever you start working in a project that's connected to an SVN, the first thing you want to do is always check out. You want to make sure you're always getting the latest revisions. So that's update. All right. So I now have the most recent version of this. And just so I can show you guys, I can also make a new folder. Let's clean it up a little bit. And I'm going to call this imports. This is I'll use a folder where I put different assets. I'll call this roll call for now. Just clean it up a little bit. And then let's find the project I just made. Oops, that's a new folder. We're going to do it over just a second, but I'll be done in just a few moments. So I made a project called ETS right there. This is the one I just made, and I'm going to bring it in. Great. Now with Subversion, I want to make sure that it knows that I want to add all these folders. You won't have to do this, but I'm doing it for you just so you can see the process. So add these to the repo. And then, as we've kind of seen, your screenshots and your movies and stuff go to the saved folder, and the intermediate folder also has some junk. We don't really want to share this back and forth because these can get pretty big. So I'm going to say unversion and ignore. So when you pull this, you won't actually see these two folders. You'll just see content and config, and then what will happen is when you open up the project, it'll be your own saved intermediate on your own computer. And then, but when you push or when you commit, it won't actually be committed to the repository. So it's like a local version for these two folders. So now I have the project here. I'm going to commit it, and I can see that I'm just loading in. There's that material I made, my map, and I'm going to say first commit of final project, and say OK. And so now everyone should be able to pull, and you should see the project in your folder, in the folder for your version control. So the rules are always check out first, and then always push when you're done. We don't want to make sure you don't want to walk away and leave something checked out. For added context, just so you know. Is it opening? There it is. You might have seen this little button here called source control. You can actually connect via source control while you're working. I'm just going to grab real quick my URL for the repo. And then I could say I'm using SVN. My repository is found here. My name is here. No, I don't put anything in the directory, and then my password here. And then I accept settings, and if this works, you can see this green is here. It's both pushing and pulling. So this is how you work with a very large team, or a small team simultaneously, because you don't want more than one person actually editing one file at a time, because there'll be conflicts. But let's say I want to work on Todd. Now when I right click at the very bottom is source control, and I check it out. I want to work with it, so I'm checking this file out. If I had opened it up and edited it, it would have automatically checked it out as well. And you might not be able to see it, but there is a red check mark. And on your guys' computers, if you were connected to source control as well, you would see that it's being checked out. It's locked. You can't check it out. And then if you wanted to use it, you can actually ping me via the service and say, hey, I want to check it out. So this is just something I want you guys to know. We may or may not get more in depth in this, but it's cool that it's built in, and it keeps you from having any conflicts when you work remotely on projects. So and then when I'm done with it, I can, through Unreal, also just submit it to source control. So I don't even have to use Tortoise or SVN Lite. I have Unreal, which can do it for me. Made a change, or basically what I'm doing is I'm returning the file back to the cloud. And so now it's not checked out anymore. So that's the workflow. It's not really hard, and the Unreal Engine is more about just understanding the idea of version control. So let's go back to the syllabus. So let's continue to go through the years. I have it kind of step by step. If you have any questions, let me know. But the idea is to make a level, put a sphere in it, make your own color, which is an instance of, and this is all screen recorded, so you can find it later. And then just continue to talk with me, and we'll continue to work on this together. And then next week, Winslow will come in and talk to us, and we'll learn more about materials and more about advanced materials and scene creation. Cool.
So if I'm using the version control of Unreal, do I still need to push and pull the turtles?
Yeah, if you do everything in Unreal, you don't have to use Tortoise anymore. I usually like to pull with Tortoise first, though. My workflow is usually to go in my folder when I first start off, pull, then open the project, and then let it lock things automatically. And then you can either push back in Tortoise or push within Unreal.
Oh, okay. And every time I push it back, do I need to add the whole folder first and then to push, or I just push it?
You can actually push back. It's a good question. You can push back just individual files. Like I could just try to commit just like a single map if I wanted to. But usually what I do is I go to the root, because anything it automatically ignores these, and any changes I make would go up. If you want to, you can just do it from any level you want to. And again, this is a whole exercise in version controlling, so experiment. We don't have anything here we can't recreate in 2 seconds.
Do I need to add the ETS folder as what you did?
No, that was showing you how to set it up. It's already in there. If you go to your working copy and update it, you should have now. It should look like this.
Okay.
Cool. Sorry we went over a little bit today. I blame my tea kettle for taking too long to heat up. But